All right, everybody, welcome to this time at the Catholic Graders Conference here in Steubenville, Ohio. Again, I'm John Sohl with the Director of Discipleship for Family Renewal Project, and with me is this awesome guy named BeardedBlevins. Well, really John Blevins, but that's your basic name on
What would that be called?
Twitch.
Is that a surname?
Yeah, surname.
Surname.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. You're on Twitch. And can you just first off tell people what that even is? Because odds are our audience back home doesn't even know what that is.
Sure.
And kind of explain what your platform is, where you came from, some of that.
So Twitch is a platform similar to YouTube, and you can live stream now on basically any social media platform. But Twitch, owned by Amazon, is the largest live streaming platform in the world. And it started out as a video game stream. Actually started out with a guy named Justin TV is what it was called before it was called Twitch. And long story short, you can live stream yourself playing a video game and people could watch. Now, due to advances in technology, that's only about 20% of what happens on Twitch. Now it's just a live streaming space where people from all over the world can be live doing whatever content as long as it's mostly not illegal. You can find it. And the VODs will stay up so you can watch it after as well. And you can also multicast and live stream on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch all at the same time.
Wow. So how did you get into it? What's your platform look like? Like, what do you do what do you live stream?
Yeah, so I'm married with 4 kids and did 15 years of Catholic full-time ministry and started part-time streaming to try to be a light in the darkness. There's a lot of really great, amazing content out there, a lot of great, amazing live streams out there, but there's way more dark ones, way more sinful ones, way more negative, a really bad influence on children, I would say. And so I kind of saw that and was looking for Catholic streamers that were on Twitch and kind of doing this thing and didn't find any. And I felt called by God to do that. So I started part-time streaming about 8 years ago when the kids were super young. And it went well. I kind of built this really cool community and saw God working in a lot of different ways, and then launched that into a full-time thing a couple of years ago.
And you're playing?
I play Fortnite all the time, but I also play Madden. I do cooking streams. I do college football and a couple other games too, but Fortnite is the main.
That's pretty awesome. So it's not like explicitly Catholic content.
Correct. Yeah, I like to call it pre-evangelization. Right? There's if I started every single stream praying a rosary and doing a Bible study after, and then played Fortnite, you could do that. And there's a market for that, and someone probably should. But you're not going to necessarily reach as many people as you possibly could. Who need to hear the good news of Jesus and his church. So I call it pre-evangelization, and we talk a lot about faith on there. A lot of times questions will come up, and I don't shy away from them, but I don't lead with it. I just lead with being my authentic self, and the faith seeps out of that. I would say St. Paul, right? Is he the one who said, always be ready to give your reason for hope? Is that him?
Yeah, that's right. That's
something like that. That's really what I feel like I lean into the most. Like, I often get asked, why are you so joyful? Yeah. Like, there's a lot of streamers out there who are banging their controllers against the wall and upset. They're cursing all the time. How come you're not doing that? How come you're so joyful? How come you seem happy every single time I see you on stream? And I just then have a moment to share my reason for hope. Well, it's because I'm Catholic.
Yeah. And
then the questions come in.
Yeah, in fact, I think that was St. Peter, but St. Paul also.
St. Peter said it?
Yeah, I think so. Sorry, bro.
I asked you for confirmation.
I know, and I thought it, as you were talking, I was like, wait, I think I'm wrong. But St. Paul said something like, be all things to all men so that you can save a few.
I love that.
And I think that's part of this. Like, you have to be able to just sit with people, meet them where they're at, and not be afraid of wading into those deep waters. Like, what did JP2 say? Duke and Altum, into the deep. Right? Lower your nets for a catch. Well, I think Jesus said it first, but that's what.
Well, and just Jesus' ultimate example of meeting people where they are. And right now, whether you like it or not, they're online.
Yeah.
Right? And you can sit there and say, that's not good, so they shouldn't be. Okay, well, they are. So. You know, and that didn't stop Jesus from going into those places and eating with the tax collectors and meeting the woman at the well, and he was going where people were.
Yeah, so we call these digital missionaries, a little bit different. So what are some of the dangers of this new continent and new countries? That's kind of how we were talking in our earlier broadcast about this. And it's like Twitch is its own country, its own culture and customs, and same with Facebook and YouTube and all these different platforms. Like, what are some of the dangers that we have to worry about if we're going to actually wade into these waters that we never? It's like going into a new continent is terrifying.
Yeah, I feel like for me and from what I've seen, having a personal prayer life is massive. You have to be close to God as you're doing this. Have to be close to the sacraments, right? You have to be going to Mass. You have to be frequenting the sacrament of confession. For me, I got very lucky though. Like I would not have been good at this 20 years ago. I had a lot of, you have to be formed.
Yeah.
You have to be really formed. If I tried doing this when I was 21 and just finished my bachelor's degree in theology, I would have failed because I was not a fully committed disciple yet. I was still walking with a lot of people who were forming me and being led. And of course, I'm still being led. I'm still not fully formed, but I know that. And the only reason I know that is because first I was formed. And so I think formation is huge. And if you're not, one of the dangers I think can be that you fall into sin of addiction of technology and spending too much time online. I think also it's pretty easy to really think you're hot stuff when everyone's affirming what you're doing and what they're seeing all the time. You're the reason I'm converting. You're the reason I found God. And it can be like, oh, this is nice. And if you're not praying litany of humility, if you're not staying formed, staying close to the sacraments, it can be very easy to really kind of feel like start your own community where you're not encouraging people to go to church, you're encouraging them to just show up and hang out with you. And that can be bad.
Yeah.
And so I think that's one of the biggest pitfalls. But then also too, just assuming that you're I just remember being 23 and being like, oh, now I'm a good Catholic, or 27 and be like, now I'm a good Catholic. I think you have to know that it's an ongoing journey forever.
Yeah.
Right? Forever. I've met 50 and 60-year-olds who led me growing up who don't go to church anymore. Right? It is a lifelong journey. I don't presume to know that I could never leave, because I could if I don't stay close to Christ and His church and the sacraments.
Yeah. It's staying on the vine.
Yeah.
So critical. And
also having my wife just, is
yeah, your family.
I can't slip up. I got a wife and kids,
Right, it's the same here. And
Yeah.
I love something you said earlier in the conference is that it should be easy not to cheat on your wife if you're going into these worlds. And that can also be a pitfall that you fall into, like the chats and the relationships you form with all these people. Like, you got to avoid that stuff big time. I can't imagine. What's the value of apostolates and ministries and parishes in the church investing in the kind of not just marketing in the sense of like promoting our own products and services and raising awareness of our existence, but like actually discipling people, using technology, investing in good equipment and the excellence you're talking about?
Yeah, it is really important. There's tiers to the level of, and speaking just of investment, there's tiers of levels to do this in. You don't have to have a $50,000 studio. You can spend a couple $1,000s to make sure you have the right stuff so that people won't leave whatever it is that you're trying to put in front of them right away, right? I think that's really important. This is where people are. I did a lot of traveling and speaking and training, leadership training at different Catholic churches and parishes and dioceses around the country while I was doing ministry. And I'm not saying fire people and do more stuff online, but there's a lot of people who've been working and kind of ineffective at a lot of the things that they're doing in the church. And that, why do we allow that in the most important mission field ever, right? We're talking about the Catholic Church here.
Right.
So businesses don't allow it. Why are we sometimes putting resources into things that we shouldn't, and then afraid to put resources into things that are so obvious? Everyone is spending their life online. I don't love it either. I don't. But that's just the case. I mean, people are on their phone for 7, 8, 9 hours a day on average. Right? We're the most connected we've ever been, but the most depressed of the generation's ever been. There's more therapy than there's ever been. There's more depression than there's ever been. How is this happening? It's because we can be so distracted at all times. And so if we're not out there as Catholics and putting effort and resources into reaching people and bringing them into the community, right? I do really think that there's a world in which we can fight back against this technology superpower and get people off their phone and out not in front of screens all the time. But first we have to go there and get them and then bring them back into in-person communities. And if we're not putting resources into that, then quite frankly, we just don't really care.
Right, and this is exactly what I was going to say. So that, families don't even know their own children are living their whole lives on the internet, being raised by the internet.
Yeah.
And the thoughts in their minds, this is tearing families apart. So to have the courage to go into these worlds, not just with systematic formation, online content, which is great stuff, and that's what Family Renewal Project wants to provide, but also entering these worlds of, what do you call it, being chill and normal?
Yeah, right? We gotta be chill and normal.
Right. It's a good thing. So I know you enjoyed this conference. What's your biggest takeaway from this time as we conclude?
I have hope. I have a renewed sense of hope from the people that I met here. Not even from the the content that's happening online. I think there's a lot of people here who are doing great stuff, but it's the people here themselves who I got to meet, talk to, understand what they're doing, like you guys and others, that give me hope that we're moving in the right direction. We're aware of what's going on. And all of the people I've gotten to talk to and hear about their stories and hear their ambitions. There's not a lot of people doing live streaming here, and I've had dozens of conversations with people throughout the weekend about how they might be open to starting it. That's cool.
Yeah.
And there's so many of them that would be so good at it. So that I'm just so excited. I think we're going to look back 5, 10, 15, 20 years from this conference and probably the one last year. I wasn't there, but I've heard good things.
Yeah.
And be like, wow, the fruits that kind of came from that are very evident.
Yeah, being on the ground floor is pretty exciting. To see the fruits that will come is a great thing. So, well, thank you, John, for being on this with us, and I wish you all the best. And I still want to see you bring my brother into a live stream for him to do magic tricks. It'd be really awesome.
Twist my arm.
He definitely did that all night last night.
Oh,
right?
it's so fun. So fun.
Good.
Twist my arm.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Well, thanks. God
Yeah,
bless you,
prayers
brother.
for you and all you guys are doing.
Yeah. Well, thank you all, and we'll see you next time. We'll see you back home, and pray for us for a safe journey. Well, God bless.